Talens, Chief Growth Officer for Fitocracy. They're all focused around making exercise and staying in shape fun. A fun fact that you might want to know about Dick is he used to be a fat kid, and then he got in shape. So come on up, Dick.
Thank you.
And if you don't believe me, you can check out his profile on their site. He's got a before and after picture. And
Talk about it plenty here.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey guys, my name is Dick Talens. I'm the co-founder of Fitocracy. I'm also an amateur bodybuilder and a nutritional coach specializing in helping super busy people get fit, including lawyers, CEOs, the reigning Miss America right now. I wasn't always like this. In fact, growing up, I was a super chubby kid. I was the fat kid in class. By the time I was 16, I was 220 pounds, and I hated exercise more than anyone in this room. I was too busy playing video games, to be honest. It's not that my family wasn't health conscious. In fact, they were doctors who kept telling me, eat less, move more. They would also espouse the value of the food pyramid, which they also told their overweight patients about. Since I lived in a small community, I'd see these patients month after month, year after year, and they'd be about the same size as when I started. So what was the difference? Why did I go from that to that, where patients my parents had just stayed the same weight? Well, did I start eating less and moving more? Or maybe it was technology. Maybe I got a Fitbit and started tracking what I did, or got a Wii Fit and started motivating myself to exercise. I mean, I do have a fitness start, right? But it was none of those. It was actually cat pictures. There we go. Now, before you laugh, let me explain. Cat pictures are indicative of online community. When there are cat pictures around, there's usually a super engaged community nearby. Just like if you see seagulls, there's probably land. If you smell something funny outside your car, you're probably near Jersey. So, there's engaged communities. So, I'm going to tell you why fitness communities are more important than doctors when it comes to solving the obesity crisis. So, cats, not doctors. Okay. So, I learned about fitness communities when I started getting fit about 10 years ago. I learned that they had a very high success rate, which was surprising. People would lose 5, 10, 50, 100 pounds extremely easily. They also completely ignored what doctors said. So they would ignore the food pyramid, they would ignore eat less, move more, and they would actually do the opposite. So in these communities, people like Dr. Lane Jordan would say the food pyramid would actually be more useful if it were turned upside down. They would also geek out about studies like Siri Torino, which stated that the connection between cardiovascular disease and saturated fat was nil, and that running wasn't very effective for weight loss. In these communities, people got extremely fit, following these rules, supporting each other, and they geeked out over nutrition and science. These communities were also super, super engaged. So these communities tap in the same mental model that Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr do. In fact, we know in Fitocracy that our users spend more time on Fitocracy than any other social network except for Facebook. So let's contrast that with doctors. A good friend of mine, Dr. Yoni Friedhoff, who has one of the largest weight loss centers in the world, I believe, says that in medical school, they dumb down nutrition to eat less, move more. And if that were a solution, of course, the world would be skinned. Despite the fact that obesity is one of the largest problems in the modern world, that's what they teach in medical school. Dr. Joseph Lightfoot says similar. He actually straddles the nutrition and fitness world and says that in medical school, I learned about disease, but I didn't learn about health. They just don't teach that in medical school. They teach you how to cure, but they don't teach you how to prevent. So look at what happens when most people, your average dieter, tries to eat less and move more. They probably pick up salads, organic food, they start running, they drop sodium, saturated fat, cholesterol, and they are miserable. They hate their life. What happens physiologically when they drop all those foods and start running, they lose lean mass, they plummet in hormones like leptin and T3, that causes their metabolism to drop, that also causes them to get hunger, disproportionately hungry compared to how much weight they're losing, and they lose motivation. They end up failing. Contrast that with Jesse Stillwell over here, who lost 400 pounds on a high-fat, high-protein diet called the paleo diet, which some of you might have heard of. Doctors would actually cringe when they heard about that diet. He learned about that from an online fitness forum, and he said, if I were to eat less, move more, I would have stopped the move more part. In the end, it's not a strategy. To tell somebody to eat less, move more is like saying to a depressed person, stop being so sad. But the good thing is, that means that obesity is not about laziness. And I find that extremely liberating because it means obesity is about humility, curiosity, and compassion. Realizing that you can't summarize one of the most complex problems in the world in 4 words, forgiving yourself for each time you tried, and then acquiring knowledge to better yourself, and get more fit. From what I've seen, the failure to get fit is not really the failure to shrink your waist, but the failure to expand your horizons. It's a really big failure. I'll leave you with this. My favorite group on Fitocracy is aesthetic hats. Thank you.